Meet Ireland's Mark Rohan, a double gold medal winning Paralympian. He's an athlete of immense courage and resilience. At the age of just 20, Mark was on his way to play a game of football when his life changed forever.
In 2001, I crashed my motorcycle and I ended up hitting a tree on the 4th of November. And as a result of hitting the tree, I broke 4 bones in my back and had lots of other injuries. But the 4 bones in my back, I damaged my spinal cord. And that's what left me paralysed. And when I crashed, I spent 2 hours in the ditch.
During those 2 hours, Mark lay there listening to his phone ringing and cars passing by. But due to the severity of his injuries, he was unable to attract any attention for help. Thankfully, a passerby noticed the crash site and applied first aid, stabilising Mark before an ambulance arrived. It was a deeply traumatic time for Mark and his family, especially for his mother, Carmel.
The shock was horrific. Mark was almost 6 foot tall, so full of life and so outgoing. And all of a sudden then we found out that he was paralysed from the chest down. The shock was horrific, not just for me, for his dad, for the rest of the family. So yeah, it was a shock, massive shock to the system at the time because I was so physical and it was unforeseen. So big changes took place, and I was lucky enough that I had learned a lot of lessons through sport, discipline, planning and stuff, and I think that got me through my accident and got me through 7 months in hospital to know that there is an end result.
32-year-old Mark grew up in the village of Ballinahown in County Westmeath. In the middle of 5 children, he was a physically active youngster, spending countless hours working with his uncle on a dairy farm. As a boy, Mark enjoyed Gaelic football, rugby union and soccer, and sport played a central role in his rehabilitation. He dabbled in wheelchair archery and table tennis before captaining Ireland's wheelchair basketball team at the 2007 European Championship. Later that year, the challenge of hand cycling lured him in.
Yeah, for sleep. And it was in 2007 when I bought a hand cycle to cross-train. So the first time I got in a hand cycle, being like a lover of the countryside and stuff, I just loved the fresh air, loved the freedom it gave me. And you just totally forgot about your disability. You were just freewheeling, and the fresh air blowing in your... I had hair at the time, it was blowing in my hair. So I loved that. And then that took over.
At the 2012 London Paralympics, Mark competed in the H1 time trial and road race. Having already become Ireland's first ever paracycling world champion in 2010, Mark created yet more history in 2012 at the famous Brands Hatch motor racing track. He won the time trial by a comfortable margin of 12 seconds. The road race 2 days later was considerably closer, with just 0.2 of a second separating the top 3. But once again, it was Mark who emerged victorious.
For me, the 2012 Paralympics in London were probably the highlight of my sporting career so far. I was lucky enough to get the 2 medals, but I don't think that was the main high point for me. I think it was just seeing all my friends, family travel over, because as Irish athletes, we kind of looked at it as a home games, because there's so many Irish in London and the guys could travel over within an hour. So yeah, they all got to experience hand cycling. We got to race in Brands Hatch, which was phenomenal.
Mark's big target this year is August's World Championships, which take place in the United States. Currently number 3 in the world, he aims to topple top-ranked Italian competitor Luca Mazzoni, who pipped Mark to the gold medal in the H1 time trial event at last year's World Championships in Canada. Mazzoni also won the road race at the 2013 Worlds, with Mark just missing out on a podium finish. That disappointment has served as an inspiration for this year's championships. When he's training on the country lanes of Westmeath, Mark is often accompanied by his girlfriend, Jennifer.
I think what he's done is amazing. I think he's brought a lot for the sport in Ireland. I think a lot of people look up to him, and you know, when we be out and about in Ireland, people are always coming up and speaking to him and, you know, asking him about where he's going next, and you know, children are often stopping him in the street and want to get his autograph or his photograph, and I think a lot of people look up to him, and you know, I think he's helping a lot of people with disability as well see what can be done and what people can do. So I think he does a lot of good through the sport for other people.
A budding triathlete herself, Jennifer is a Dublin-based doctor who met Mark at an award ceremony last year.
So I think in terms of Mark's best qualities, I think he has a real strength of character. Nothing really phases him. I think part of it's been what he's been through in life and what he's achieved in life. So I find that while other people might worry about day-to-day things, he tends to take a lot of things in his stride, and he's quite a calm person. In any kind of a mini crisis, you know, he won't be panicking.
Along with his roadwork, Mark also spends a considerable amount of time in the gym. Building up his physical strength is vital for the gruelling demands that hand cycling places on his upper body. Mark's strength and conditioning coach is Tom Commins from the Irish Institute of Sport, himself a former Irish Olympian. Mark's gym sessions take place at the University of Limerick, the first institution in Ireland to offer physical education and sport science as degree courses.
With Mark, one thing we wanted to work on was to improve his strength and his power, so that he would improve his power output when he's on the bike. So a lot of the start of this year has been building up really good technique, looking at the variety of different exercises we could do given his disability, and from there we've been working on a very targeted strength program over the last 2 months, and he's making quite significant progress in all of those areas.
Mark benefits from the fact that disabled Irish athletes are afforded access to an equal amount of funding as able-bodied athletes. With additional support from sponsors, Mark is able to concentrate full-time on his training.
And if I meet a 6-year-old or 10-year-old girl in a wheelchair, she knows that it's possible. If she wants to become a full-time athlete in this country, she can do that. So yeah, I think we have a responsibility, and I would see myself as someone who's had a lot of ups and downs in life, and sometimes I can offer advice to people who sometimes find themselves in a difficult situation. And I look for role models to get some motivation sometimes as well. So yeah, I would think I would be, without sounding too cocky, but I think it's important, yeah.
It's Mark's commitment to setting an example to others that has left those closest to him in awe of his achievements.
Proud of Mark is an understatement. He has made us better people, and he has faced everything with great determination, no fear, and I think that's what makes me so proud of him. He doesn't give in. He has the ability to see further and just make everything seem worthwhile. I couldn't be more proud of him if I tried.
After the successes of London 2012, Mark admits to having lost some motivation, which contributed to him losing out at the World Championships last year. But with Rio 2016 firmly in focus, his sense of purpose is building once again.
And then Rio will definitely be a goal, so I'll work backwards from that, and each year I'll take a World Championships, and hopefully I'll get enough points to qualify for that. So it's the road to Rio, less than 1,000 days, so those days will fly by pretty quickly, but hopefully I'll do enough work between now and then to get there.
Constantly striving for self-improvement and with an incredible will to win, it shouldn't surprise anybody if Mark Rohan retains his Paralympic titles in 2 years' time.